Hello from Crewe. I'm quickly trying to talk between the station announcements. We are off on a train to Bangor in Wales, a part of the world I've not explored before, and on a train I've not tried before, the Class 805's Everos with Avanti West Coast. So we're going to get on board and see how it goes. And before our train arrives, I'll just say that you might consider subscribing to the channel. Your support really does help. So the more eagle-eared amongst you will have heard that I said we are travelling, and that's because I'm not travelling alone. I am with, of course...
Hello.
This is Tim's Travels. So,
Platform 6 for the 16:30 transport for
every time...
Manchester Piccadilly. Corner at Wiltlow, Stockport and Manchester Piccadilly. This train is formed of two coaches.
Just two. What are you expecting from this train journey? We've come down from Edinburgh. Crewe, what are you expecting from the next leg?
I'm expecting, I'm hoping that there won't be any fighting couples swearing at each other, screaming kids, arguments. Yeah, I'm hoping just a little bit more peaceful journey.
I think that's reasonable. And we were not the couple involved in these things, in case you wonder. But let's see how we get on. I'm sure it's going to be just grand.
Oh, it will be, yes.
And here's our train, the 16:45 service, which is due to arrive in Bangor at 18:19. So let's get on board. And in theory we had a couple of seats reserved, but in reality, well, this didn't happen. There was a couple in the seats that we were supposed to be in, and they wouldn't budge. So what do you do about that? Anyway, we got on board, and this was the view that we had for the first part of the journey. So in my ire, I stomped off to the onboard shop, and the crew in here were really friendly, happy just to blether away, and allowed me to take some shots in here. The fridge wasn't working properly, it was registering 32 degrees Celsius, so avoid the white wine. And I do like this feature, a water refill point. I think that's excellent, and I managed to make a purchase or two. Okay, we managed to get a couple of seats that were available and got a window view. So let's have a look around the seat. So you have a tray table, which is perfectly adequate, along with a reading light. And as for the legroom, I thought it was really good. I thought there was plenty of space for me anyway, so that's grand. There's also a 3-pin plug in front of you, always handy for keeping things charged up. And the window blind was doing a fine job of keeping out that late afternoon sunshine. As for the seat, I like the winged headrest. I think that's very nice, and it was perfectly adequate. Very comfy, actually, I've got to say. Unsurprisingly, overhead you've got luggage space with lots of red lights showing that those seats are reserved. As we power our way towards Chester, we get a glance of the Shropshire Grand Union Canal. And the first stop on our journey is at Chester. So here the two 5-car units will detach. The front 5 cars will continue en route to Holyhead, whereas the rear 5 will stay at Chester and form a return working to London Euston. So we're here for a good 10 minutes, I would say. So it was nice just to spend a little bit of time looking out the window. As we leave Chester, I just thought we could talk money, so this was a single fare from Crewe to Bangor in standard class, and for the two of us that came in at £22.40 with a Two Together Railcard. I think that's good value for money. And the onboard Wi-Fi worked perfectly well. It was able to keep me up to speed with the score of the test match, so I was very happy indeed. Crossing the border into Wales, our first stop is at Flint. And leaving Flint, we get a good idea of the industry that goes on in this part of the world. We glance the Tata Steelworks, then there's the Flintshire Bridge, nicknamed the Bridge to Nowhere by locals, and then the gas-fired power station at Connah's Quay. Near Mochdre, we come across one of the most interesting things I think I've ever seen from the window of a train, the turbine steamship Duke of Lancaster. Constructed by Harland and Wolff and launched in 1955, she took up service predominantly on the Heysham to Belfast route. In 1979, she ended up here and became known as the Fun Ship, a very popular tourist attraction. She had a cinema, restaurants, bars, and even a zoo. Okay, so it's time for a wee update from, not me, but couldn't make it up, Mrs. Tim's Travels. How are you finding the seat?
It's absolutely fine. I do like these
Winged headrest. Winged
because
headrest.
if you fall asleep, as I was doing earlier, it's actually really nice. It gives you nice support. So I do like that.
At Prestatyn, and we've had a raft of announcements. We're going to carry on with the conversation with Mrs. Tim's Travels. Any improvements that you think could be made?
Yes, it's actually really quite warm today, and I would love if they had, I don't know what you call the one, like an aeroplane, the air vent that blows cool air down in there,
Yes.
which I think would be an advantage on trains, especially for ladies of a certain age.
Are you a lady of a certain age?
No, I'm just old.
I have nothing further to add. Either side of Rail Station, we catch glance of Rail number 1 signal box and Rail number 2 signal box, and what magnificent buildings they are. Heading further west, we arrive at Llandudno Junction, and the weather and the scenery just gets better and better. As we approach our destination of Bangor, I'll just give my thoughts on the Class 805. I thought it was a lovely train, very comfortable, very spacious, the ride quality was excellent, and the onboard crew today were really good, very friendly, and that always adds to the experience. Something I am going to throw out there to you, the YouTube audience, is seat reservations. What's the point? Do they work or do they not? What are your experiences? Also, thank you so much for watching, and if you can bear it, I'll give a few more of my ramblings at the end of this video. Right, well, there we go, a little run along the North Wales main line, and that was great fun. Beautiful scenery, and I suppose, you know, it's a bit annoying when you've reserved seats and someone's in your seats, but what do? Can you forcibly evict someone from a seat? I don't think so, and I'm not that type of person anyway. But all in all, great fun. It's always good to be in a train, it's always good to explore somewhere new. And thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.